Hey, what's up everyone? Trader Tim here from eminimind.com doing a Monday trade recap video. And the first place I'd like to start is on the ES daily chart. That's over here on the left. You can see I got these two yellow lines marked, and if you watched last Thursday's video, I put those lines on the chart because those are the next two unfilled gaps, or like the next places that we were likely to gravitate to. Obviously, this one being closer than down here. But right away on Friday, we gapped up, we broke we filled that gap and then broke into the kind of that 50 to 61 area here. So now we have actually the gap from Thursday to Friday down here, which is a 29.1175, and it would be very likely, very likely that we go there this week. If not tomorrow, very likely Wednesday. We've got this inverted hammer here, and if we break its low, so if we break today's low tomorrow, a 34, then I'm going to target this 29.1250. If tomorrow we move up and break above today's high, a 34.25, I'm sorry, a 59, 29.59, then we should also break the 61.8, 59.75. There's really not much room for us to break today's high without breaking the 61.8. And then I look for us to kind of move up into the middle of this area, 29.75. So a decent amount of room for us to go up and down tomorrow. If it just ends up being a really tight range bound inside day, then I would look for Wednesday to break this inverted hammer. But a very good candle setup here in that we've got momentum to be in the process of changing. Like right now, we were rallying, we got this trend change candle, and only two things can happen. We either break down and that momentum changes from up to down, or we fail the candle, the reversal candle, if you will, and we break highs and then sort of continue the trend up. So either way, we should have some pretty good moves I'm expecting this week, so be ready. Intraday today, I actually ended up with no trades, and here's why in the ES. So I started the day at the highs from the open, drawing down in the first 15 minutes. We had a real tiny retracement there, but then we really didn't get anything after that. Um, another kind of retracement. Even if I use this swing low here, we didn't come up into the 50%. So I just went for the full halfway back drawing on the morning. That was about 20 minutes in that we were trading at the halfway back short. Uh, had a little bit of a reaction here and then came up and broke the 61.8. There wasn't really a swing low on the way up to break, so that always makes it a little bit iffy with taking any kind of short. I really want to see a clean stop at the 50 if I'm going to take a short off of it if there's no swing low on the way up. We also didn't have a low tick at lows, so there really wasn't a whole lot here. And then breaking the 61.8 to the upside and then falling down, it's like, well, this isn't a very strong break to the upside. So let's see what we get at the flip, at the long. And this one was basically the exact same thing. We got a little bit of a bounce at the 50, came down, a little bit of break at the 61.8, and then moved higher. So I didn't really, there wasn't a pullback in here. We were pretty much in the middle of the range without much of a trend in the first 30 minutes. So being Monday, I tend to kind of usually slow play into the week or kind of build as opposed to being super aggressive right at the open and then risking being stopped out right away and then kind of starting the week off on a bad note. If it was later in the morning and I had to stop out, not so much as big of a deal versus if I just got all excited and opened my charts and bam, 631 taking a trade, or 931 for those on the East Coast. So then we came up and had a double top up here, and this was a beautiful double top at the top of the first 30-minute range. Everything checked out really nicely. The only thing we really didn't have was a high ticket highs. We had I think it was '06. Yeah, 7:06 my time, which 36 minutes after the bell. But that lined up here. This was where the high was. It wasn't the high price of the day even at the time. So then we went, a few ticks higher. Now it's 40 minutes after the bell, and we don't have a high tick. But nonetheless, we came down, we broke a swing low, everything looked great. But when I drew the next 50% retracement from lows up to highs, we stopped right at that 50% long. And because the first two shorts of the day were kind of fake outs, I'm sorry, the first two retracements, first one was a short, it broke at 61.8, but then it traded down. And then the next one was a long, it broke at 61.8, and then head faked and traded back up. So I was concerned about being faked out here with like the market just um, perhaps looking like a good short, but then being faked out and going into a long. And that's essentially what happened, except we kind of died after that. And I was looking for, so at the time, you're like this. Let me clean this up a little bit. This is what the chart looks like. So I pass on the short, even though it did trade down maybe a point, but not much more than that. So this is where we were at, and I'm saying, okay, well, if I pass on this short and we come up and break this double top, the highs, now if I just kind of project out roughly where the negative 23 is, look where that puts my 50%. Right at the double top, at the top of the first 30-minute range, and I was all about that. But look what happened in basically the next hour. We broke highs by a couple ticks, but didn't get close to the negative 23. Broke high again by one more tick, and then fell down. Like even if I drew up the retracement like this, we clearly broke the 61.8 there. Then we traded up again, another one tick break. That's not a very strong, very convincing rally when we only break highs by a tick and then another tick and another tick, and then keep having these bigger sell-offs. So by the time we got to this point, the negative 23, we were 90 minutes into the day, and so I drew it up like this, and I was prepared to take a 45, but we never got there. And so you might say, well, why would breaking highs over here just by like one or two ticks at a time, why would that kind of signal weakness? Because look at this 5-6 point run up that we had after that. Well, then look what happened towards the end of the afternoon. When we started to fall off, we fell hard and fell back into the first 30-minute range and then closed with this inverted hammer. So this run up was likely, made up of not so much longer term plays or positions as it was just intraday shorter term positions. And that's why as a floor trader, a pit trader is able to sit up here and kind of fade these highs. And since there's not a ton of buyers eager to be buying highs, then it's easy for the floor traders with smaller positions than like a big bank to push the market down. And then usually after the hour mark, that's when the floor traders kind of uh, try to do their counter trend stuff at that hour mark. And then after the lunch or kind of going into lunchtime session, a lot of the times they're just taking a break or not so active, and then the market's able to get a little bit of a lift. So, not certain that that's exactly what happened today, but you do see that a lot. And when the daily candle closes as it did today, that says a lot more than the price action that you see intraday. So it's helpful to look at a daily chart, just not during the day while the candle's forming. Because if you looked at this candle, middle of the day, it would have looked like it was a big body bullish bar. But these days where you have, a big swing in one direction and then a big swing in the other direction can usually be pretty good to day trade because if you think about it, you've got a nice steady trend for half the day and then a trend in the other direction for half the day. And so there's good swings, but today I just wasn't able to get in anything and that's all right. But tomorrow, watch for that break of lows of today. And I will definitely be initiating some short positions if that occurs, especially if we gap down up here. That would be a gap I would be shorting. So you can follow along actually tomorrow morning. Is Tuesday, and so we'll be doing a live trading session. So you can follow along at emoneymind.com if you want to chat, ask questions, and just kind of follow along as I go about the Tuesday morning session. So hope everyone has a great week of trading. If you have questions, leave them below, and I will talk to everyone soon.